Okay, so this is your calendar. This is a week shot of your calendar. I'm trying to see if you can even see it on. Okay, so I'm going to kind of give you my example of what I looked like when I did when I first got into real estate. So I worked for the bank. I worked from about 7:30 to about 4:35 every single day. And so those times I did not have available to work on real estate. So I want you to go through this exercise with me if you can, at home or later. So take the times that you have and I want you to just black them out. And the idea is I want you guys to have a visual of what your calendar looks like so we can find the time to prioritize our prospecting. And so this was mine, right? Very basic. It was Monday from 8 to about 5. I was busy. I was away from my phone. I couldn't make phone calls. I couldn't do anything during this period of time. So when I was brand new, I was my first month or two, I was running around like a crazy person. Just anytime I had a minute available, I'm trying to come up with cool new marketing ideas and great new people to call and new scripts and all kinds of new awesome cool stuff that I thought was going to be groundbreaking, like no one else ever thought of it before. And I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And I was, after about a month of that, I was burnt out. I had no real I was making no real progress. I had no clients. I was just running and going and going and going. I was home late every night. I was up at 5 a.m. every morning. I would go to work and I'd spend 2 or 3 hours messing around with junk at the office, and I was never really accomplishing much. And I finally burnt myself out, and I didn't come into the office for like 3 or 4 weeks, and finally came back in and got with my mentor, got with Steve, and we came up with a game plan where I could do less but accomplish more. And that's very, very possible when you start time blocking properly. And the idea is focus on less and you'll accomplish more at those activities. You'll get better at those activities faster and you'll have more success quicker in the long run. And so this is what mine looked like. And so what I came up with was I would figure out, okay, every day I would spend an hour at the office. So at 5 and 5:30, and then when I did it, we had class every Saturday at 9 to 10, and then 10 until about 1, I'm doing FSBOs, and then I'm off, and then on Sundays from noon till about 4. As I got better, I would work that back to about 1 till about 4, but this is it. This is what I did. This is my part-time schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So between 10 and 13 hours, between 11 and 13 hours a week, which is not very much time to spend, I'm prospecting more than a full-time real estate agent. I'm able to do 5 to 8 for sell by owners and an open house on Sunday. And I'm able to accomplish more in this 10 to 12 hours a week than most full-time agents are working 40 hours a week. I'm doing more real prospecting. And you have to remember, I should have opened up with this. When you're in sales or when you're a realtor, especially a brand new realtor, your job is prospecting. It's not, we can pay someone else to do everything else, right? So opening doors, writing contracts, negotiating, going to inspections, doing all those things. Someone else can literally do all those things. Whether or not you're moving the dial on your business has everything to do with how much prospecting are you doing on a weekly basis. And the people who spend their energy and their time blocked time prospecting are going to make the most money every single time. Everything else is supplemental. Everything else, it doesn't matter how great you are at writing contracts, doesn't matter how great you are at negotiating or any of that. If you don't have a client to negotiate for or a client to write a contract for, then it's all worthless. And so what I want people to do in this exercise is understand the importance that your job is prospecting. So find your schedule, go through it, write the times you're not available. Maybe, so this is mine here. So maybe I'll come up, we just met with, we just met with another guy today who is coming on, and he works Sundays until about 5, and he's off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And he works till 5:30. So this is the exercise I would encourage him to go through. Okay, here's my calendar. Here's what I can work and I can't work. And then we're going to find time to fit these activities in. So Saturday, obviously, if this is your schedule, and sometimes it's a tough conversation to have, if you don't have weekends off, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to transition into a real estate career. I would encourage you to get your hours changed if you can, look for some other position where you can have your weekends off. But if you don't have weekends off at all, it is going to be pretty difficult for you to prospect at the rate you need to and transition into a real estate career. You can do it, but it's going to be much more difficult, just a heads up, because most of your clients are going to want to do stuff on the weekends. If you are absolutely unavailable, it'll be more difficult. But some people have one day off, some people have 2 days off, maybe it's a Saturday and you're off on a Sunday, whatever it might be. But I want you to take whatever your schedule is, right? This is an abnormal schedule, and then figure out where you can work, right? So on Saturdays, if this is your schedule, you need to be spending as much of this time as you can on prospecting. Maybe you've got your open house 2 to 4 on a Saturday, and you've got some FSBOs in the morning, and then you got a little time in the afternoon for showings. Or maybe you're making for sale by owner calls in the 5 o'clock hour on Friday, or going on scheduled for sale by owner meetings Thursday morning, or whatever it might be. But what I want everyone to do is take their time block, go out, visually add it to your calendar. And maybe don't just time block if you're a full-time job. Maybe you have other obligations, right? Maybe my daughter has soccer practice from 5 till 6 on Thursdays. I'm going to be at church from 9:30, 10:30, 11, whatever. I got a couple hours on Sunday. I can't do anything. I have to be at whatever place here every single Tuesday, whatever it might be. Don't just do it as your job. The other thing that you want to maintain is somewhat of a personal life, whether it be children, you have events to go to, or other, going with friends, going out of town, whatever, date night, whatever it is you want to build into your schedule. Use this as an opportunity time block. And what I want you to do, again, as I fill out a schedule, a lot of people think, oh man, I have no time to do anything. And when you put this on a schedule, and a lot of times, so this is what we did with Paul, who came in on Sunday. So he was, I want to say it was 8 until about 11, or until about noon, had an hour, and then got off at 5. So this was his schedule, right? There was a lunch break. He didn't go in until 9, maybe. I can't remember the exact thing. Maybe it was went in at 9, break at noon, and then worked at 1 till 5, something like that. But when you do all this out, and if you have an hour-long lunch, that's an hour of opportunity that you can make phone calls. You could drive a neighborhood. If you work in an area, he was working from home, so he could go drive a neighborhood looking for FSBOs on this lunch break. But when you break it all down like this, you start to see, okay, there is opportunity, there is time here. Is it fun? Would I rather be eating at my desk or eating in my house? Yes, sure, I'd rather be eating. But I also hate my job. And it kills me when I go to it every single morning, right? If you're anything like me, I absolutely hated my job. The people I work with are fine, but I absolutely hated going to it. It didn't do anything for me. So I was fine waking up at 5 a.m. to work on stuff. I was fine leaving lunch and going to closings and inspections and not eating that day. I was fine working for an extra hour or 2 after work because I hated my job. And I knew if I wanted to fix it, I had to do something about it. So everyone thinks they don't have a schedule that's good for them or good for real estate or whatever. And it's important when you can visually lay it out like this and time block your areas, whatever it might be. I want everyone to do this if you're part-time or new or starting. And I want you to time block this. And then whatever hours you have, be very, very intentional with your time. So we'll go back to my original one. So here was mine. I knew I had to go on 5 to 8 for sale by owner appointments every single week. So I stacked them on a Saturday because I couldn't really just throw them throughout the week. So I stacked them all on a Saturday. So I would spend my Thursdays calling FSBOs. So the hour that I had on a Thursday, I'm calling FSBOs, and I'm not done until I got 5 to 8 stacked up on Saturday. On my Fridays, I am previewing for my open house. And for that hour, I'm bouncing around to 3 or 4 or 5 open properties that I can preview for my open house. The rest of the days, I am either showing property, I'm researching houses, sending email, following up with clients. Most Mondays are spent with follow-up. My Tuesdays and Wednesdays are filled with something. I find something. I come up to the office, I read a book, I watch one of our training videos, I go on a meeting with one of our agents or whatever it might be, but I'm doing something every single day. And if you can create, when you can time block and find what areas you have available, you can create consistency in your schedule. And when there's consistency and predictability, you can start to build momentum. This also helps with family. I had a wife and a young child at home. And so if they know when I'm going to be gone and when I'm going to be home, if they know where I'm at every single Sunday from 2 to 4 or from noon to 4 or from 9 to 1 on Saturdays, or I know I don't get home until 5:30 every single day because I'm working on real estate, that consistency and predictability makes home life much more enjoyable as well, versus if my wife just has no idea when I'm going to come home tonight or no idea if I'm going to be around on Saturday or Sunday. But if I have that consistency and everything's time blocked and they know and they can see, they can come to my calendar and look at it, then it creates that consistency that allows me to build momentum and have success as a new agent. What a new agent, the thing that kills new agents the most is they don't ever pick up momentum in their first month or 2 months. And it's because they're inconsistent and they can never gain momentum because it's just something different every day or every week. They don't have any consistency. And so the number one thing you have to do when you're brand new is time block find out, we have a system, right? The font system. Where am I putting my font pieces in each week? And you can't just do font FSBOs once a month. It's weekly action you have to be taking if you want to quit your job or make $100,000 or whatever it is that you want, whatever goal you have written down. You've got to have a plan for it. You have to take consistent action. And that's what I want this exercise to be for our agents. So